Hey, this is Dr. B. Hopefully, you'll get to listen to this amazing podcast. This is a webinar I did a few weeks ago. Think like an investor, capital, leverage, and passive real estate. So, it's an amazing webinar, amazing opportunity for you to learn about what I do and not just what I do, but the importance of thinking like an investor and why think about investing passively in real estate starting today, not tomorrow, but today. Enjoy. So for those that miss it. Awesome. All right, good. So I'm going to share my presentation and then we are going to begin. Awesome. All right, good, good. Ah, you see they started to come in, started to trickle in. I love it. I love it. All right, okay. So welcome to Think Like an Investor, Capital, Leverage, and Passive Real Estate, right? So that's today's webinar. So, hey, Athena, how you doing? nice to nice to connect. You just missed a little bit of the intro stuff, but that's all good. We made it. You made it. So a little bit about me. For those who don't know me, President Borja Consulting Group, part owner of a 52 unit in Southern Pines, North Carolina, invested in a 48 unit in Hickory. I'm also involved in a deal in Cincinnati and also in Louisiana, right? I have over 23 years of experience between higher ed and financial services, founder of the Elevation 90-Day Mastery. I see some of my students here, where we teach founders, fundraisers, and investors how to raise capital for their deals. So shout out to Anthony who's here from the class, right? I'm the host of the Dr. B Show. I'm a two-time best-selling author. I oversee programs with Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. I do have my DBA in marketing. I am mentored by Amy Majuri, Sean McNichols, on shout out to Raising Private Money, and Mike Ely and Mika Woody and Wendy Guzman on the Big Deal Maker side, right? And I'm a big pro wrestling fan. And fun fact, I've attended 21 WrestleManias. All right, so basically, here's my quick story before getting into some of what I wanna thinking about when it comes to investing passively in real estate. I come from the world as I just read, higher ed, financial service and higher ed. So here to my left is a picture of me, the president at the time, Michael Smith, and Jaime Pardo, and a student. So I worked at Berkeley College for about 10, actually altogether 12 years in various capacities. I was in financial aid, advising, and career services was my last role. So my last role, I was the director of business development for career services. So my role is I used to connect with organizations to hire the students for internships and career opportunities, right? So what happened was in 2018, I started Borja Consulting Group on the side as a side hustle, being able to just I did webinars and seminars around personal branding and LinkedIn, because I guess I'm okay with LinkedIn. And then I registered my business in January of 19. In March of 19, I got my doctorate, my DBA in marketing. It took me a long time, but not how you start, it's how you finish. And then I resigned in May. So that's a picture of me pointing at Berkeley College on the last day, May 8th, I believe it was, in 2019, right? And I just took a leap of faith, right? I didn't have a backup plan. I had money saved. I was blessed, and that's it. I took deep dive, deep dive into entrepreneurship, deep into the pool, as they say, and I did okay. And then COVID happened, and then I kind of basically had to start from ground zero again. And then 2020 was a very rough year for me, and then 2021 is when I first started landing my clients, and the rest is history, right? As they say after that. It's a picture of my family back in 2019. A lot more bigger now, but that's a picture of me and my family, right? So the story of how I got to where I'm at on the real estate end, right, and which is kind of what I'm talking about today a little bit. Upper left is when it comes to my story, I talk about it in my book actually. So basically, back in 2022, I said, you know what? I wanted to jump into real estate, but I didn't know how, right? So I decided, I tried YouTube University, tried others, and eventually I said, you know what? I'm gonna invest in myself, right? I was gonna do it with a friend at the time, and I said, let me invest in myself. So I decided to join the RPM. I attended a conference, and then I joined in 23. There's a picture of me and and Jerry, because the original intent was I was with a friend of mine. We were gonna buy a multifamily in New York and New Jersey. Just the numbers weren't there, so we decided to go externally. So that's when we decided to go into Tennessee, right? So this is me and Jerry in Tennessee, and unfortunately that you can't. It's not the best picture, but it was a 32 unit, and what we offered versus once the inspection came, the seller was not willing to meet us, and we decided to walk away from the deal, right? So after that, we were going to purchase a property in Florida, and this was back in May of 2024. And unfortunately, the day of the closing came. I had my part ready. My partner did not have his part ready, and unfortunately, we couldn't close. Right, so the seller was upset. Everyone was upset. The seller gave me some time to raise the money to wrap up the down payment. Although I had the money, I decided to walk away from the deal, and unfortunately, because of the EMD period was passed. The EMD stands for earnest money deposit, and since it was past the 30-day period, right, due diligence period, I lost some of the money, right? In essence, my partner was supposed to do that at the time, and he did not. So once that deal kind of fell through, I had two choices, right? I either had to double down or walk away completely, right, from real estate, and that's it. I decided to double down. So I decided to partner directly with my mentor, Mike Ely, and which you can see right here with the shirt from Broke to Millions. And thanks to my mentorship with him and partnering with him, we were able to close on a deal 3 months later in Southern Pines, North Carolina. That's the 52 unit I mentioned in my second or third slide. So here's a picture with me and him. And that's a picture with Wen, my other mentor, and partners Tim Best and Nevia Benwright, right? So positive ending to the story. It could have went south, but it did not. I was positive, and we were able to overcome that, right? So it's a little bit about me and how I got to where I'm at today and why am I here today, right? So lessons that I learned, right, or my advice to everyone here is definitely like who do you partner with is very important, right? Because you don't want to you want to make sure that you vet them, right, and make sure you do as best as you can to vet them and make sure that they don't burn any bridges or you're not wasting your time or efforts or money. And let's say if you and for me, at least for me, and I think for others as well, and Anthony knows because we were just talking about this before, the importance of coaching and mentorship, right? And being able to seek help, right? If you don't know the answer, seek help. Don't be an egomaniac and say, oh, I can do this myself or YouTube University. If you need help, seek the help. And then a lot of times just taking that first step done is better than perfect, right? So those are the lessons that I learned when it comes to investing, right? All right, so that's the picture of my book, Dealmaker, available now. All right, so as far as some of my other additional goals, being able to double my portfolio in the next year and a half, continue to grow my coaching practice. Thank you, shout out to the students here. Getting into notes a little bit, I want to jump into that. Be a capital partner. How you doing? Jump into that. Write a children's book with my daughter, and then taking my podcast to the next level and owning a hotel, right? So that's my goal. All right. So I'm going to ask you guys a question. I'm going to make this a little interactive. So what would you do, if capital wasn't a limitation? Let me know. Would you buy that house? Would you buy that hotel? Would you close this deal? Tell me what would you do if capital wasn't a limitation? Let's see. So for me, it would be I would purchase the hotel. Let's see what you guys come up with. Come on, let's see. What would you do if capital wasn't a limitation for you, for your business or you personal? Let's see. Let's see what you guys come up with. Let's see how creative you guys can get. Let's see. Buy a $2 million EBIT. Oh, yeah, no, of course. Purchase foreign land. I love it. I love it. I love it. Good, good. I love it, Glenn. You are the man. Mitchell, how you doing, Mitchell? Purchase foreign land. I love it. What else? Anthony, what do you think? I know Hector's a little busy. Rob, what do you think? Regina's been on my webinars before. Leah, how you doing, Leah? Athena's new. Athena's like, what am I doing? What did I sign up for? Nah, that's good. How you doing? Don't worry about it. Let's see what else. What else you guys come up with? Invest in real estate. Good, 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 good stuff. Excellent. Let's hear from one more person, if possible. Let's see. What would you do if capital was not a limitation to what you can do? Let's see. Nobody? Everybody shy? Okay. No problem. No problem. No problem. Let me. Oh, it's all good. It's all good. I won't take it personal. Okay. Um. Yeah. So what most people do. So the first thing I want to jump into, as promised, right? We all. I think this is the first week that you're eligible to file your taxes, right? So most people spend their tax refund, right, on vacations, cars, and clothing, right? And clothing, right? That's awesome, right? That's dope, right? But they don't make it don't make you money, right? Right? Not at all, right? And as you guys know, once you drive a car out of a lot, it loses its five, almost like 5 grand automatic in value, or on average, right? So most people do that, right? Most people spend it on cars, vacation, and clothing, right? Where they should be spending it on other things, right? Well, more to come on that, right? So you have to look at it from a different way, right? So a tax refund, isn't just necessarily extra money. It's an opportunity to change your direction, right? And building that generational wealth, right? And build it from being able to build a generational wealth for generations to come, right? And how do you do that, right? You start by making that money work for you, and not you just flushing that money into a novelty, right? Right? Into novedad, as they say in Spanish, right? I'm sorry. Let me see. Invest in real estate. Get out of debt and invest. Buy land. Oh, no doubt. Yep, yep, absolutely. Sorry, I'm answering. I'm answering what these other folks are saying, right? So what you got to do is you have to look at it from a different prism, right? When it comes to any extra money you may get, right? It's an opportunity to change direction, right? Right? Sorry, my little one is sick. You okay, Emma? So what you want to do is accelerate time, right? So what does that mean, right? So what does that mean? Leveraging isn't about risk. It's about moving faster instead of waiting years to save, right? You don't. Yeah, you could save for the perfect time, for the perfect business, but what you want to do is accelerate that time, right? And how do you do that? By making the right decisions today that will impact you, 5, 10, 15 years down the road, right? So how do you accelerate time? It's not about necessarily risk. It's about moving faster instead of waiting years to save, right? So being able to make those right decisions, investing in the right business or investing in the right deal in order for you to get from point A to point C or D, right? No matter what the goals may be, right? Mike Ely, as you guys know, who's my mentor, talks about like BHAGs, right? Big, hairy, audacious goals, right? So he talks about being able to, dream about making 30K, 50K, 100K a month, and being able to, own, 4 or 5 hotels or 10 hotels, whatever it is, right? Like the dream or goal should almost scare you, right? But at the same time, what you do on a day-to-day basis should be able to get you one step closer to that specific goal, right? So whether it's the amount of phone calls, whether it's the amount of events, whether it's the amount of actions that you take, right? I'm here tonight, right? Right. Technically, I could have been done. It's for those on the East Coast, it's 7:15, 7:16, right? I could have been done an hour ago and would have been chilling playing PlayStation or doing something else, right? But I'm here, being able to help you guys or educate folks about investing and investing passively in real estate, right? So you want to be able to, again, about moving quicker, instead of waiting years to save, being able to take the opportunity, and invest it in a vehicle, in something that'll be able to make you money, right? It could be real estate, it could be crypto, it could be whatever it is. But again, it's all about, and again, everything's in moderation, right? It's all about moving quicker, and smarter, right? So your refund, right, is temporarily, right? So you want to be able to leverage it correctly, right? So by leveraging it correctly, it could become cash flow, right, for a small duplex, or depending where you're at, right? It could be equity for a deal, and at the same time, it could help with long-term tax benefits depending on how you play it, right? So that's what you got to think about. I think for years and years, I was always worried about, oh yeah, I'm gonna spend X, Y, and Z when I get the money and this and that. But now Yeah, you always say like, "Hey, what would you tell your younger self?" I would tell my younger self, "Hey, man, all those years where you got that tax refund, you should have stocked it. You should have put it into something, into a business or a deal where it's making you money, right? That's what I would, that's what I would do at least. I don't know about you guys, right? So that's a little bit about that, right? So that's about putting your refund to work, right? All right. So what you want to think about, you guys are all on this network. We have about 9 or 10 of us. So shout out to everyone that made it here, right? It's all about accessing better opportunities, right? So some opportunities aren't available with small amount of cash, right? Like how, yeah, you may able to do like Betterment or Acorn. That's fine and dandy, right? But being in the right rooms with the right people, like individuals like me, like Glenn, like Rob, right? Some opportunities are not available with smallest amount of cash, right? That's why it's important to work smarter, not harder with your money. So leverage opens doors that most people don't see, right? That's something you have to think about, right? Again, I'm gonna say it again. A leverage opens doors that most people don't see, right? So that is why you have to be ready, right? So let's say if the perfect opportunity happens, right? You want to be ready for that opportunity. You don't want to say, "Oh man, I spent it on that on, on that on that trip to the Bahamas, and now I don't have the 10 or 20 or 25K to invest in this specific deal," right? So you want to be able to be opportunistic and be in the right places at the right time, and being in this room is the first step in that right direction, right? Where you have the opportunity to connect with folks in this room, to connect with me or reconnect with me, right? When it comes to those opportunities, right? So, you could keep doing what you're doing, right? Spending or sitting on money has a cost, right? But it's all about that opportunity cost is often higher than that responsible leverage, right? So like you probably heard the term, "Oh, I have my money under the mattress." Okay, great, but is it making you money? No, right? It's probably actually losing you money, right? Honestly, right? Right? Or if you just have it sitting in the bank, yeah, it's nice to see, right? Nice to wake up to, right? That's fine and dandy, right? But at the same time, you have to make it work for you, right? So I'm not telling everyone here tonight, "Hey, liquidate your account." No, no, I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is you want to make sure that you want to be smart with your money and understand the cost of doing nothing, right? Am I making sense? Just give me a yes if I may make, give me a Y or give me a one if I'm making sense. Let's see. Making sure I'm awake or make sure I'm awake with you guys. One. Got it. Okay, good. Thanks, Glenn. No one else? No? Thank you, Anthony. Two people. Yes. Yay. Awesome. Good, good. All right, good. I'm glad I'm making sense, man. Excellent. Everyone else is probably just, what? What are you talking about? No, no. Awesome. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you. All right. So what you want to do is be in a spot or in a position where you're able to create those opportunities, right? So leverage gives you choices, right? Right? Whether it's to reinvest it, whether it's that refinance, whether it's that exit, whether it's that scale, right? You want to be able to just understand, and you guys all know this, right? Limited capital limits those opportunities, right? So that's why you have to be ready. So when that opportunity comes, you're able to make that investment, right? Make that refi. Be able to say, "You know what? I've made my money. My books are in order. I'm gonna sell to Glenn my $2 million EBIT business, right? EBIT business, right? Or I'm ready to scale, right? So you want to be able to be in a position where you're creating those opportunities, right? And if you have, I'm guilty, whether high debt, right, at times, right, or if you don't have liquidity, it makes it tough for you to do that, right? So being able to leverage gives you those choices, okay, right? Awesome. So why me? I mean, why passive real estate specifically, right? It's where can your money work for you without requiring your time, right? So why do I say passive real estate, right? So the difference between active and passive is an active investor, basically, or GP, is involved in the day-to-day activities versus a passive investor. They're investing simply, they just, as an example, Athena says, "Hey, Dr. B, I have 100 grand in the bank, or I have 100 grand sitting in an old 401k. I'm gonna roll it to SDRA, self-directed IRA, and I want to put it to work. I want to invest in your syndication deal. I don't want to deal with tenants, toilets, and trash. All I want to do is collect my money and interest, right? Can I do that? Absolutely, yeah, no doubt. right? And this way, it's a win-win for her, right? Because in Athena's case, she's making money plus interest, and 9 times out of 10, maybe even more interest than just leaving it in the bank, right? Her money's working for her, and it's easy for us, or for us together as a team, because let's say with Athena and with Glenn and with Hector combined, right, via what we're doing as a JV partnership or even as a syndication, we could go for bigger deals, right? We could go for like the 52 unit or the 300 plus unit we did in Cincinnati, or the 48 unit we did in Hickory, right? So that's the beauty of passive real estate, right? So that's why I like it, right? So that's a little bit on that, right? So in addition to that, it's cash flow without a second job, right? Especially if let's say if you do a few syndications, right? So what will happen, for those who don't know what a syndication is like, let's say we raise a certain amount of money, and it's accredited or non-accredited, right? So whether it's 25K, 50K, whatever it is, right? Let's say we raise a certain amount of money, we'll use a bridge loan in addition to close the apartment complex, right? And then what will happen is, by the end of year two, for most syndications, right? We'll with the on the refi. What we'll do is in the first 2 years, we're stabilizing rents. We're also fixing the common areas, fixing the apartments, right? We're appreciating the value of the complex or the apartment complex. By the end of year two, we'll refi. We'll pay out the bridge loan because it's interest only payments, right? We'll pay everyone their principal plus some interest, and then on the cash flow, once you're on the cash flow, everyone will still get their distributions, and then on the sale, essentially, which is usually end of year five, you'll 2x your money in a lot of cases, right? So essentially, you're doubling your money, and essentially you're doubling your money with an investment you made like 5 years ago, right? So imagine you had a few of those around at the same time, right? You're creating cash flow without necessarily having a W-2 and having to drive Uber or Lyft, right? No disrespect to those guys, right? So passive real estate can generate income without tenants, toilets, or late night calls, or dealing with trash, right? So that is the point I wanted to drive, right? Am I making sense? Yeah, yeah. Athena, am I making sense? Yeah, yes. She's like, no. What did I sign up for? So just very high level. I'm gonna go high level. Again, don't ask me anything, too technical. We're high level. Let's see, what's this? Tracking. Okay, cool. Thanks, man. Awesome. Awesome. All right. Thanks, Lynn. When it comes to tax advantages, right? So a couple of things to think about when it comes to real estate, right? And tax benefits. You have the opportunity to depreciate. The IRS lets you deduct wears and tears, even if there's an increase in value, right? You can also take a paper loss, which helps you when it comes to paying what you actually pay Uncle Sam, right? While still recovering real cash flow. And oftentimes you could offset passive income. Depreciation can reduce or eliminate taxes on the income from the investment, right? So that's tax advantages, the first part. The second part, which is on the next slide, discusses you could cost segregate, which basically is like, as an example, let's say this desk that I'm sitting on, it's worth, like, I don't know, $100, right? So depreciate $20 a year, right? But instead of waiting to the 5 years to depreciate, you could cost segregate and accelerate that depreciation to now, right? And that usually happens. Not near. I would say, like, for example, with us, it didn't happen year one for the deal in the Hickory and Southern Pines. It happened like year two once we stabilized the rent a little bit. Um, and then also you could tax defer that growth. Gains can often be deferred through reinvestments and keeping that capital compounding, right? Kind of like the 1031 and kicking the bucket on deferring that tax, right? So that, again, so just high level, that's depreciation, paper loss, offsetting passive income. And there's also cost segregation when you could apply it, and then tax deferred growth as well, right? So that's the beauty of why I like real estate, right? Awesome. All right, so you could sit back, do nothing, right? You could go to YouTube University, or you could at the same time allow me to help you, right? So those are the three choices you may have, right? So up to this point, you learn a little bit about syndication to an extent. You learn a little bit about the importance of investing that tax refund. I gave you some advantages when it comes to taxes, and I told you my story, right? So I went from literally from losing the EMD, which is about what I lost like 16 grand, right? To losing out on Memphis, losing out on Tampa or Clearwater specifically, and then now to where I'm at, involved in all these deals in the Carolinas and Ohio, right? So, you could sit back and do nothing, do it yourself. You could go to YouTube University, or you could let me help you, right? So very important when it comes to that, right? So how many? Let's see. Let me get another poll in the chat, right? So how many people want to make money this year? Say I, yes. Give me a fire emoji. Give me something. I want to make sure you guys are awake. Let's see. It's tracking. Let's see. Nobody? Yes, yes. Me? Good, good. Rob's like, yes. Rob, we got to connect, brother. Man, I know I canceled our meeting. That's my apologies. Yay, Mitchell. Yay, we do. Yay. Yes, sir. Yes, Glenn, for sure. Absolutely. Let's go. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hopefully you like what you're hearing, man. Hopefully you like what I'm cooking. Good, good, good. So for the most part, everyone is jacked up and wanting to make money this year. I know I want to make money this year. I had a fantastic conversation, and very excited for this year. Let's see, who else? Who else? Let's go. Yay, yay, Leah. Thank you. I thought you had your hand raised, but thank you for that. Awesome. Good, good, good. So I'm glad everyone here is, I love it. I love the energy in the room. Everyone here wants to make money, right? And hopefully this is not the last time that I see all of you here, and hopefully I get to see you again. I'll tell you how in a few minutes, right? Or I think of the next slide. So hopefully you like what you heard, right? So what I want to do is I want to help you guys. If you want to learn how to raise capital and think like an investor, I have a fantastic opportunity on February 7th, right? That's what I want to talk about, right? So basically, there is what's called the Capital Connections Virtual Summit. I have Ref, right? You guys know Ref, some of you guys, right? He's going to be discussing time blocking and how that's important when it comes to raising capital. I have the lovely Nadia Ramos going to be discussing personal branding and how that helps you when it comes to capital raising. And I also have Randy Gomez, who's going to be discussing AI and now how that could help you when it comes to raising capital as well. And then I'm going to have a more further discussion when it comes to raising capital, specifically getting into like the mindset, walking the bridge, and then once that happens, then I'll also give you guys scripts and processes. We'll have a fun time on Saturday the 7th. So awesome. Raising capital is hard. Yes, I know you know. I know you know. But I gotta, I have some cool techniques, and I just want to be able to pass the knowledge on to others, right? So I think that's my last slide, or one of my last slides. So awesome. Yep, that's my information there. I'm gonna drop the information for the summit in the chat if anyone is interested. I enjoyed my time today with you guys here. Do you guys have any additional questions? I kind of felt I didn't want to go too fast. I don't want to give you too much. I want to give you just enough so that Hey, Glenn, go ahead. You could unmute yourself.
Hey, thank you for this presentation.
Ah,
I enjoyed it. I do have a question though. In terms of
Sure.
when you're looking at real estate syndicates, you see a lot of these on the internet, especially on LinkedIn. Everyone has a mastermind group.
Yeah.
What are some specific criteria that you should be looking for? Should you look for like their investment thesis or like syndication fees, or what are some like red flags to look out for? What are some good things
Oh,
to look
fantastic.
for?
Yeah, great question, brother. Yeah, for me, like, yeah, I agree with you. It's about the due diligence I did when finding Mike was basically, yeah, I looked at like historically like their investment portfolio. I looked at their reputation. I looked at what other people have said about them, and then from there, I had a choice. I was looking at Rod Keefe. I was looking at Mike. I was looking at Vina Jetty. I was looking at a few others. I like Mike's message the best, and I liked his portfolio. Um, and from there, I was able to choose him. And then by working with him, I was able to work directly with him on some deals. And then what I did was, since I joined that mastermind, I was able to connect with Tim Best that you saw earlier in those pictures, and I was able to invest in or help invest, not just help raise, but also invest in those deals with them, and they have some fantastic reputations in the Carolinas. So I asked around, and and I only invest with people that I know from the mastermind. So that's how I did it, man. So if you want more, if you want to get more or talk more, we'd love to chat offline. But that's how I did it, brother. Cool. Oh, thanks, man. Any other questions? Athena, what are your thoughts, Athena?
Well, I'm here to observe, right?
I know. I'm not gonna tell you. Gotta check. Gotta check. Come here,
And
check.
I'm really here to kind of listen to your model, and
Sure, sure,
I
sure.
mean, so it kind of I would say it definitely bring back a lot of good old memory. I started my real estate back in when I was in my 20s.
Sure,
I
sure.
know I probably don't look like 20s, but I'm 50
You look
now,
great.
so.
You look great.
So I can resonate with what you're talking about and the story and things like that. So back then there's
Absolutely.
no COVID, but there's just life ups and downs. So
Right,
it's definitely, yeah, totally resonating with the philosophy of using real estate as a way to generate cash flow.
yeah.
So just like I'm actually using my AI agent to actually help me doing the connection right now, as I'm working here with you and my agent's working with for me.
Oh, I love that. That's the beauty now. Right now, you have agents that can work for you 24 hours, right? So that's crazy. It's crazy. I love
Yeah,
it.
exactly. That's kind of how I've been helping other real estate investor applying this the AI technology and automation into their business to scale. So I'm working with the real estate investing company that is scaling from flipping 150
Mhm.
units a year to 400. That's what they want to is to be able
Yeah,
to flip 400 units a year, but that takes some serious infrastructural kind of setting, right? So just kind of like what you guys are doing, you'll eventually a lot of your investor will
yeah,
look into the infrastructure that need to
yeah,
scale. Otherwise, it will break.
yeah, yeah. Absolutely. Glenn is saying Claude is my best intern. LOL. I love AI.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, yeah. Actually, ironically, on Tuesday, I have a meeting with someone to help me set up with an agent. And I use a lot of AI or tech stack a lot of different things. I tech stack certain processes and all that. So I get it, Athena. I get it. I get it, and it's helped me a lot. So good, good, good stuff. Appreciate you coming on.
Sure.
Yeah, yeah. Not thank you, Mitchell. If you started over today with limited capital, what passive real estate strategy would you focus on? Ooh, that's a great question. Um, I probably would if I had to start all over again. I probably would not lose 16 grand. If I could start all over again, I probably would start passively, just to get my foot in the door. Probably some type of REIT or syndication deal. I would kind of do what I'm doing now in the beginning. What I did, at least what I did in 23 or early 24, I would do that first, right? And then learn the ropes. Kind of what I did, what I just shared with you. Learn the ropes, learn syndication, and then I would say, then I would like be a KP and do that, right? So that's what I would do. That's so. The other thing I was telling my 20-year-old, I have a 20-year-old. Yes, I say like start with a duplex, right, where you can live in one and then rent the other, right, and this way basically pays off your mortgage, and then you could tap into the equity and then do the next thing, do it again. But that's a separate conversation. But if I were to do it again, no matter what, I would do a syndication deal a lot earlier than what I did now. So cool. Nah, thank you, Mitchell. Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you, man. Anytime, anytime. Any other final questions? I purposely did not want to make this long. I just wanted to give you my quick story and a quick taste of a little bit about investing passively. And for me, the main goal was, you know, I wanted to show Athena and others, my presentation style, and I wanted to share information regarding the summit. So cool. Any other final questions? It's very interactive, right? Rob, what do you think, man? Before I sign out, Rob is my boy from LA. LA, let's go Dodgers.
Yes, sir. Hey, great information. I mean, for someone like me who has a IT business and almost like a startup mode still, this is just a great information on investments. saving money,
Yeah.
raising capital. So looking forward to more of your presentations.
Yeah, cool. No, thanks, man. And I know I'll share the information for the 7th with you for sure. Cool, man. Thanks, man.
Sir,
All right. Awesome. Good, good, good. All right, good. If I don't have any other questions, I'll give you guys 20 minutes of your life back. And please, I would love to stay in touch with each and every one of you. And I will see some of you guys, or most of you guys, at my summit on the 7th. So thank you so much. Have a great night. And hopefully you learned something. And pa'lante. Let's go. Let's make some money. Thank you so much. Have a great night. Take care, everybody. Take care. Thanks. Ciao. Hey, Dr. B here. Hopefully you were able to enjoy the Think Like an Investor Capital Leverage and Passive Real Estate. It was a fantastic webinar, fantastic energy in the room, and hopefully we will do more to come. So hopefully you enjoyed the episode. Subscribe, like, share, tell your friends. Dr. B out. Take care.